Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Hi guys, this is Sunny Chayes, and you are with me today on Singing in the Rain, and I am very, very excited to be with you. And I'm also sort of feeling like I want to go deep. So we're going to be taking care of some subjects that are often chatted about, but here's my camera. Okay, thank you, John. Hi people, here I am. That we're going to be chatting about having to do with taking care of ourselves, taking care of our planet, and taking care of our kids, our peeps, like that. And I'm very excited to be having SUZI LULA on with us today. I met her through Agape. I met her through her fabulous husband, Jamie, and she's a really great musician, which we will hear about next time. But today we're going to be talking really about everything that I was just mentioning. So she's a very powerful spiritual therapist, speaker, and rockin' human being on many levels, and quite lovely. So also I just want to quickly mention that Jamie and SUZI are going to be doing an event, I love this, called Dive Deep Down Under in October 17th through 31st. So a more meaningful travel experience. I love the idea of that. So, these days it's about going places and bringing our good with us and leaving some there and passing it on and paying it forward and all that stuff. Right, SUZI?
Exactly.
So that's what it's kind of about. So there's many more beautiful things I can say about SUZI, but we'll just kind of play with them along the way instead of a long bio. Let's just bring her on, shall we, John? So let's bring SUZI on. Hi, SUZI.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I love it. I love our studio audience, too. Thank you. Very enthusiastic studio audience.
Yeah.
So, SUZI, let's just dive right in. Say whatever you want to say from everything I just said.
I love that you love Dive Deep Down Under. I feel so honored to be a spiritual therapist in the sense of I really get to dive deep with individuals into their psyche, into their consciousness, into their life, and they often tell me things that they have not mentioned to anyone, ever. And so the fact that you loved the phrase dive deep, you're speaking my language. I'm not a small talk kind of girl.
Well, that's so great. And I don't know if you're hearing right now, but behind us we have this music that is the Singing in the Rain version, but then I also wove in it the song Make Someone Happy.
Yes.
So guys, when you're listening, that's kind of what's going on. There's a little counterpoint going on with that.
Love
and
it.
So that's what we're saying to the people. We're saying, whoa, we're saying we're singing in the rain, we're changing it all up, and we're also making someone happy, because the lyric goes, make someone happy and you will be happy too. So we know that's kind of how that goes.
Yes.
So thank you, John. Papers are going everywhere. We're having so much fun already. So dive in first. Go ahead. You dive deep, and then I'll play with you as we go along.
Well, I think as we were speaking before the show, what I'm finding in working, I've been a spiritual therapist now for 16, 17 years, working with people individually, groups. And what I find is that we all are looking for the same thing. Everyone wants to know that our lives are important and that we matter, and that I think people are looking to connect to, why am I here?
Nice.
What is it that I've come here to bring and to share and to contribute? And so I feel fortunate to work with groups and to work with individuals to assist them, not only to connect that each one of us has chosen specific gifts, has chosen a specific soul calling. There's something calling each one of us. And then the question is either whether you're answering that call or you're resisting that call. And that's the diving deep in my work, is to assist people not only to connect with what it is, because when you get still long enough, there's no doubt you know why you're here. You know what you have, what is calling you. And then there is that courage to contribute. To contribute, to shine, to let your soul shine. And so it's, as we were speaking earlier, it's not good enough anymore to just talk about it.
God,
to
no.
sit there and and you can meditate, you can go to, to an ashram, and you can connect to what it is, but your soul will always be longing. It's like we're coded and we're encoded with something that we came here to bring, and there's a restlessness that will never go away until we've given it. And that's why
Indeed.
I believe there's so much restlessness on the planet right now, because in pockets of individuals know that there's something that they're not heeding, and the restlessness is a good thing.
Yes, I agree.
It's good that this is just that persistence inside of us that is saying, I'm not going to let you rest until you bring and give what you came here, to give.
Yes, and even in the growth of ourselves, there's no resting with that. There's no arriving, and it's all good too. I mean, the restless. It's sort of. I find in my life that there's one spiritual practice that I've been working on that's the hardest one for me. I think it's the most important one, and is it's like walking a tightrope. The idea of having the intention for something to happen in my life, and then also to let it go.
Yes, exactly correct.
So
that paradox.
that's a woohoo.
Yes.
I mean, that is a tough one for me. And it's like, how much do I hold that beauty in my hand? How tightly do I hold it? How much do I let it go? So again, that is a paradox. That may be a question that we all answer for ourselves every day. And I think it's different.
Yes.
It's like a tightrope where you're just always balancing a little bit. You're never just walking straight across.
Yes.
There's a little bit of this that's always going on. And the forward motion.
There's the Albert Einstein quote, and Marianne Williamson quotes him at the beginning of her newest book, and she's talking about, or he speaks of, the most important decision any one of us can make in our life is whether we believe we live in a friendly universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're talking about that tension between having an intention and yet letting it go, it speaks to me of that dance that we're always having with, I have an intention, and then do I really believe that there is a benevolent presence that really is inviting me to let go into?
Yes, and there are many different philosophies, religions, and ways of life on our planet, and have been for a long time. And even the Buddhist I don't believe it's at the core, but at a certain level is that life is suffering.
Yes.
And I don't go that way personally.
Ditto.
I just don't. And then I had the pleasure, and I want you guys to go out and check out, of course, SUZI, and I also want you to check out this amazing guy named Panache Desai, because I just sort of got turned on to him in the last few months through Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, and then a friend of mine said I need to get at him, and then now he's going to actually be on the show in a few months. But I listened to one of his Lisa Garr interviews last night, and it was so cool because he was talking about, guys, it's okay. It's all here, and boom, bang, bong, you can just get it. And it sounds very simplistic because I'm not giving this any justice at all. But he talks about our soul signature, and about how we actually do come here and we can have bliss. And when I was listening to the callers last night, when I was listening to this interview and the different people calling in, and within a minute of a span of time of about 2 to 3 minutes, people were going from complete terror or pain or sadness or cancer or whatever to laughing their asses off in literally, as I say, 2 or 3 minutes. He took them through this thing, boom, 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 and it was amazing to me. So I thought, whoa, it doesn't have to be 52 years of therapy and
Absolutely.
Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and not eating this and definitely eating that and everything, to just get at our bliss. And what I think, and then what I love about that concept is if we do get at our bliss, whoa, then we are filled up. And in a bit, we're going to talk about being a mom and all that stuff and being a mother to the planet and to our kids. But if we come from that bliss, it is so much easier to be giving from that place.
Absolutely.
We talk about being financially filled up away. I mean, being that blissed up.
Yes.
And then giving from that is just like, okay, bring it, people.
Yes, exactly.
Don't you think?
Exactly correct. And I love him, Panache, and the soul signature. And I think part of it also is that when you speak of bliss, I often have this analogy of someone walking up to a built-in swimming pool. and you tell them dive in, the water is great. But they're looking at the pool and they think it's an empty pool.
Right.
They look in and they see 12 feet of, nothing there.
Or concrete.
Or concrete, right?
Yeah.
So in their world, it is wise to stay on the sidelines because they don't see water.
Right.
And what he does so beautifully, and many other, wonderful, wonderful spiritual teachers can assist someone in their own inner journey to recognize that they've been looking through a filter that thinks that is an empty cement hole. And
Yeah.
of course they shouldn't dive in.
Right.
But when you recognize that that's filled with pristine, pure, inviting water, and there's rafts and there's glasses with little umbrellas, it is blissful.
Or
you could
there's
just
the
could
water is buoying you up and
exactly
holding
correct. Exactly correct. There is something there that
Yeah.
is for you, and that is the nature of bliss. That is the nature of bliss. When you recognize that, you can't dive in fast enough.
Right.
You can't dive in fast enough. And even
Yeah.
when something's happening in your life, and especially when something's happening in your life, what I witness in our culture is that we aren't really taught. We are taught to avoid uncomfortable emotions at all costs.
Right.
We'll pray it away or, talk it away, numb it out, shop it away. We will go to
Bury it in any way.
way, shape, or form. And what I've come to know is that when you really are, to your point, resting in that blissful, when you're resting on a raft knowing that you're buoyed up and something uncomfortable happens, or you're feeling something uncomfortable, and you are have the willingness to embrace that, as Thich Nhat Hanh talks about, embrace it like a fragile child. Once you recognize that there is no place, there is no feeling, there is nothing that can overpower or have power over your sense of bliss, then, as you know, we were speaking the other day about the Ricky Byer song, there in your pain is also the seed of your strength.
Right.
Right there, once you embrace, and where you're talking about the persistence of this unrest, it's when we don't answer that feeling and we try to shop it away, we try to drink it away,
yeah.
when then that persistent unrest gets louder and louder and louder, but it's really brilliant because it's the universe's way of saying, inside there's a message for you and you haven't been listening to that message.
So this is something that is being talked about a lot, about, pain is our greatest gift, and all of these gifts that we get from all of these seemingly problems that happen to us in our life, whether they be financial or physical or these kinds of things. And then when people are in it, it's sort of like, don't talk to me about this because you don't understand. Or yes, I'm in it, but I can't read one more book that's all about, just listen to your inner being and all will be well.
Yes.
So at this point, I think in our spiritual development, in our social conscious development, in our human development, there's a lot that is going on every level. I mean, look at the planetary weather situation and the fires and the heat and the cold everything is sort of screaming. It feels like to me. It's just screaming
For our attention.
Yeah. I think it's screaming for our attention. I think, like you were saying earlier, we're screaming. So, what can we say to our listeners and our people who are with us? I mean, let's get down a little bit about, what's really the truth about this stuff. The first thing I want to say, I'm asking a question, then I'm talking. But anyway,
I like your style.
when we just had Mother's Day, and it's sort of Earth Week and month and year. And so, what does this actually mean? What does it mean, like we were saying earlier with Panache, bringing the bliss right away? And, or Michael Beckwith talking about bliss disciplines, or, the idea of bliss. For a lot of us, it feels sort of like that's just some other planet. I'm nowhere near that right now, so stop it, shut up. I can't handle one more minute of that. One of the things that I really appreciated about Mother's Day, that was a couple days ago, and going and hearing Ricky's music, and it was a very solemn day actually, which I appreciated personally, is that the connection that we have to our children, to each other, to our humanity, to our earth, even though you were saying, and we're saying that everything's screaming, at the same time, at the core of that, there are some truths that I think we are, as a people, starting to understand, which is our life on this planet, we as human beings are no more important than a tree or a flower. We're not. That is really the truth. And also that we do have the possibility of knowing at this point that we are responsible for our lives. We are responsible for our behavior. We are responsible for the love that we feel and the love that we give. There are some so as a therapist and as a beautiful human being, I'd love for you to share with us just some simplicity. I mean, let's get down and be simple for a minute.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
I was going to actually say this will probably sound simplistic, but what you're speaking to, though, represents, in my experience with people, that although we know all of this in our head, and we certainly don't need any more information, right? But people are still inwardly disconnected. And so it is challenging to, in the midst of life, a busy life, sometimes to connect with your child, to connect with a partner, to connect with a career, to connect with Earth Day, and then to go give from yourself when you are inwardly disconnected and not feeling connected. And so what I think is very simple, and what I feel grateful for in being a therapist and working with individuals, is I just model to them that you can be feeling something dark, you can be feeling or experiencing or going through whatever you're going through in your life. And in the midst of that, I don't necessarily believe that we learn through our pain necessarily. We don't have to learn through our pain. But if something painful is there, I do agree that in the midst, our wisdom is seeking to speak to us. And what we don't do is simply slow down when we're feeling uncomfortable, when we're feeling disconnected. We usually speed up and avoid. And it is something as simple as, I am feeling uncomfortable, I am experiencing or going through something uncomfortable in my life, and I am willing to sit down and be present with what is there long enough that I can listen in a sacred and just open-hearted, undefended, interested way. I'm interested. If I'm feeling uncomfortable, as if my son came to me and he was feeling uncomfortable about something, it's the idea of, tell me all about it. Oh, what happened? When I am willing to sit down and ask myself, tell me all about it. I'm interested. What is here for me?
I'm interested. I love that.
You will never ask yourself that question. Tell me all about it. I'm interested. What insight is here for me? You will never ask yourself that question and not get an answer. Because our wisdom is always available to speak to us. It is that we turn away from our wisdom.
Okay, thank you. That is so beautiful and simple, and we can do that, okay, guys? One of the things that you said was similar to something that, well, actually the same that Panache was talking about, which is the disconnected. And he was saying that really there are so many lies that we tell ourselves and that, of course, we buy into. And he was even sort of joking about being Indian and the guru thing and all that. It's like, it's really not about me, people. Don't even think about it. It's not even about the gurus. I've been through the whole system. Some of them are, lead you one path and another path. The main thing that he was talking about was the disconnect, and that's where all the pain and suffering comes from. And when we do have the ability to slow down, so what you're saying is right in line with what I've been hearing just recently, which is cool.
And
I guess I need to hear it. Slow down, girl, and get into. And I like that concept of, guys, let's do that. There are a couple things that I've talked about letting us do, which is saying when we have to do something, saying I get to do that.
You bet.
So I love that, and even as moms saying, I have to do the dishes, we say I get to do the dishes, or I get to change diapers, or I get to play on the floor with Legos.
Yes.
So that forming is such a shift.
Yes.
and the I'm interested. You know, when anybody comes to us, I mean, imagine how we feel when we go to our people.
Yes.
Whether it's our spiritual master or our best friend,
Yes.
or when I'm sitting with a guest on the show,
Yes.
they'll tell me after, Sonny, thank you so much because I honestly felt that you were interested. God, that like
Yes.
chokes me up,
Doesn't it?
But it's true because I am interested.
Exactly
you guys
correct.
are the sages, and I'm just a mere seeker, bringing out from you what you have to say.
It's why I love what I do, because I'm sincerely interested in my clients. I'm sincerely interested in their well-being, and they feel that. It's an unspoken, it's an energy, it's a posture, it's an attitude.
Yes.
And I love what you're saying
And it's
about
simplicity.
and it's simplicity, exactly. And I love what you're saying about Panache, because also what I do, I'm like the opposite of a guru. I facilitate someone, hopefully in such an exquisite way that I become part of the wallpaper, and they think that they are inwardly connecting, and so that models to them that they can then go out into their life. And I would say and encourage anyone listening right now, if there is something heavy on your heart, make an agreement with yourself that before your head hits the pillow tonight, that you just take 3 minutes, 5 minutes. It does not need to be 45 minutes of a meditation, chanting practice.
Writing, journaling, having wheatgrass.
It can be 3 minutes
Yeah.
that you are sincerely interested in that part of you that has something to say back to you. And I'm going to tell you one other really simple practice to that might sound so simplistic, but I'm going to also encourage your listeners, try this. I've never had anyone try this that something didn't happen inside, and that is whatever that pain is. Let's say I'm feeling shame about something. I'm feeling guilty. I didn't spend enough time with my child, or whatever you're feeling. If you say, let's say, I'm feeling guilty and I love you. I'm feeling scared and I love you. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling like a failure. I'm feeling, and I love you. Because it is in our neural pathways, our fears and our anxieties are at a certain vibrational level, and all there is really is love. But the vibration of embracing something in love and with love, and most potently with your own self-love, to say, I'm experiencing, nervousness, and I love that place, and I embrace that place like you would your child. Oh, Mom, I'm feeling left out. Oh, honey, I hear that you're feeling left out, and I love you. Or, Mom, like my son said yesterday, he is in a play at school and he forgot his script, and his teacher got really upset with him because he forgot his script and he didn't have it at school. And it's that idea of like, Mom, I made a mistake, and I didn't bring my script. Yes, you made a mistake, and I love you. Both, it takes us out of the duality of either everything is blissful and good, or everything sucks, which thank you for saying it, right? That is how we are trained to live in duality. Either I'm blissed out, or life is sucks right now. And as soon as life finishes sucking, I'll be blissed out again.
Wow,
I'm blissed out until this thing. And so it keeps us on a roller coaster.
Or when I make that money, then I'll be blissed
Then-
out.
yes.
Or when I go on that vacation, I'll then be blissed out.
Exactly correct. And so this
Yeah.
practice is a practice of changing the paradigm from either or to both and. My son can feel what he's feeling and know that he is loved at the same time.
So what you're talking about is what is true.
Yes,
And the
exactly
truth
correct.
is, yes, you forgot your script, and I love you, and you rock.
Exactly correct.
So that is really, really powerful. One thing that I loved, you may know, you know SUZI Landolfi.
Yes.
Well, I saw her being honored with you on stage, some months ago, and so I zipped around and got her, and she was actually on the show.
Lovely.
And one of the things that we talked about, which I love to bring up because I love this so much, and it has to do with the truth. And I was saying to her about, she works with horses, and I was saying, whoa, I'm afraid of horses, and My family, you know, we rode English and all that stuff. But I was younger, and I'm afraid of horses, and I'm afraid to be around them because I have this fear. And she said, no, 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 that's exactly what you do. She said, when you're around a horse, they can read 3 things, and they do read 3 things all the time, which is your energy or your vibration. Like if you're nervous and scared, your attitude, like your words and everything, and your sort of behavior. So I was saying, whoa, it's like you got to just get rid of the whole passive aggressive thing, because you can't be passive aggressive with a horse. She said, exactly, because if all 3 things line up, like with a kid, and I was talking about that. And so with Mother's Day, you know, 3 days ago, that was something that we talked a lot about, because I actually really felt that way. You know, people would say, oh, you know, if things are going badly, buck up and act like all is well or whatever. And I always felt like that was a little bit of a lie to my 4-year-old child or whatever. It's like, I'm sad right now. You know what? I'm kind of a little kid all the time. Even though I'm in my 50s, I still act like a little kid all the time, which, you know, my sisters will definitely tell you. I mean, really, you know, but I felt that was more honest than to pretend that I was something else. And then I thought, well, hey, I can't help it. This is my truth. And then when I analyzed it, which again, we sometimes as moms do, it was like, well, this is cool because they'll see me be sad. And then they'll see me move past it.
Absolutely.
And they'll see me be real with them, like, guys, okay, you know, like, I'm going to sit and play Brio with you, but I'm sad and I'm playing Brio.
Exactly. And then
like
that models
that
to them
all is true.
Exactly correct. And then they can be authentic with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Brio is fun and I'm sad.
Yeah, and
I love being with you and I'm sad and I'm going to not be sad soon.
Exactly. And, you know, it's interesting with all the mothers that I work with, and the other mothers out there listening right now, you know, listen up.
And watching, hopefully.
Yes. One of the biggest things that gets in mothers' way of taking care of themselves is typically they will say, I don't have enough time to go take care of myself. And what you are saying speaks to the point that we don't have to go away to take care of ourselves.
No.
You modeled that beautifully. And, you know, I have always been the same with my son. I'll say, you know, Mom needs to go take a minute right now. And I'm just going to go in the other room. I'm going to take a minute. You're welcome to come with me. You can sit on my lap. But I just need to take a minute and I'll be right back.
Exactly.
And to this day, sometimes he'll say to me, Mom, do you need to go take a minute right now? You know? But it just really has modeled to him. It will model to him.
Please do me a favor.
That it's okay to take care of himself, and you don't need to go hide to take care of yourself. You want to hide to take care of yourself in front of your children.
Indeed.
And so I think we as mothers, we have also been taught
to take that Calgon moment.
Yes.
Calgon, take me away.
Yeah.
You guys are too young to remember that, but that was an old bubble bath commercial when I was like 4. And it was really like, Calgon, take me away. It was like, I'm going to go take a bubble bath and get away from all you people. Well, that's not really that loving, because we are in a community. And like, we don't need that.
We don't need that. And we can send our children and ourselves the message, because we've been taught as mothers, you know, that it isn't okay to take care of ourselves, and that the mom who does the most, you know, gets the most accolades and the martyrs and the guilt. You know, I have this joke about, I had a mom doing a session, a client the other day, and she literally said to me, I feel so guilty when I take care of myself. Ugh. And then Sunny, within 5 seconds, she said, I feel so guilty that I'm not taking care of myself. So it's like moms feel guilty when they take care of themselves. They feel guilty when they are not taking care of themselves.
And there is really like, there's a way, guys. There is a way, guys and gals out there. Because like, for example, people would say to me, like when you're saying that you can move through all of it with your kids, that is what I did. And I was lucky to have amazing kids who are really cool, and also
or vice versa. You were authentic, and so they were comfortable, real kids.
Well,
great
and
kids.
I had
all
them
kids
a little.
Are born
they
great,
are,
right?
you know, they just are, and I was a little older when I had my first son, and people would say, "Wow, you're so patient," and I would say, "What? I'm not patient at all." And they say, oh, you know, you're so, like, you can be with your child all day and night, and, you know, you just give all this stuff, and you do all this stuff, and you are good with Brio, and you make, you know, little beds out of toast and put the peanut butter on and all that. Or almond butter. Guys, don't eat peanuts. But anyway, I said, you know what, patience would mean that I wanted to be doing something else, or my child is behaving in a way that I'm not digging, so I have to, like, bring up patience. But guys, what I want to tell you is no. I am not patient. I'm just having a blast as much as Palmer
You're
is,
present.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And we're just doing what we're doing. And
Yes.
then there would be times where I'm kind of like, again, maybe I need a little, break or a little Calgon take me away. But then, I mean, it would be so quick. It would be like, I could go in and just take a moment to make tea and then come back, and I just, do you know what I mean? Like that
Oh, yeah.
that word of patience was just not, it was just like a whole other, not
Well,
necessary.
it became unnecessary
Totally.
for you because
it was a whole other mindset that I
Yeah.
didn't even enter into.
But maybe you didn't realize that the way you were being with your children by saying to them, I'm feeling a little sad right now, and I'm playing the game, and I'm feeling sad, and it'll pass. Maybe you didn't recognize how in the minority you were, So
Maybe. Well, one thing that I also want to say is the other day I was watching The View, which I like to every once in a while get a little pop culture in, and Goldie Hawn was on.
Yeah.
And, we love her. We love her. But anyway, she has an organization called the Hawn Foundation, or Goldie Hawn Foundation. And one of the things that she does in her, she has a kind of a program that she does in schools, and it's for kids, and it's called, there are many things that they do, but one of the things that captured my imagination, I thought was so cool, was a thing called a brain break. So it's kind of like meditation, but it's also kind of like, just time out.
Yes.
I'm taking my time out from this classroom situation because I need 2 or 3 minutes to just like regroup, process whatever it is I as a human being, as an 8-year-old person need. And so they would do this kind of like the Muslims, have prayer
Yes.
5 times a day. There are many of these aspects in our human existence that go on. Many people, many people do all different kinds of spiritual acts of, okay, let's take a brain break, they call it, or an inward check-in, or this sort of thing. Like kids on a playground when they're babies, they go through a thing called, which you probably know, rapprochement, which means reapproachment,
Yes.
which is something they do from 18 months to 3 years, and then they do it again in adolescence, which is they'll go to the playground, like you're with the mom, and then you go to the playground 25 feet, and then you come back and check in with the mom. The mom is there, all is well, so then they can go and play for 5 minutes longer or 50 more feet into the playground, come back and check in. As long as the mom is there to check in, they can just keep going. So this is what happens at adolescence. That's why they have written books that say things like, I hate you, but can you take me to the mall, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they need us there,
Absolutely.
and yet they do their thing. So the brain break thing was really awesome, and she was saying on the show, she said, what's great is if we go a little longer, someone will raise their hand and say, Miss Hawn, I need a brain break, or aren't we going to do our brain break? And it's like, isn't that so great?
Yeah,
isn't that
that's
great?
fabulous.
So you can use that in your practice.
That's fabulous. I love it. It is great.
Or with your child.
Yeah, it's great.
Isn't that the coolest? And
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about breathing for a minute.
Yeah, well, that's why my son calls it a mommy minute. Do you need a mommy minute? Because I guess I've said it so often. I just need a mommy minute, And it is truly, again, sounds so simple, Sonny, but it is taking the time to breathe.
Yeah.
Taking the time. We're so in our head in our society. It's taking. I do wish I had my piano here right now, because I
We
do
would have a musical moment.
Well, there is nothing like music.
Yeah.
What I talk to clients who are wanting to get on a meditation practice, because in our society it's so challenging for people to really quiet their mind for just 10 minutes, 20 minutes. There is nothing like music. Just put on a piece of music that will take you from your head into your heart and just allow you to get in touch with your breath.
Absolutely. And about the breathing, even 5 minutes, even 2 minutes. I mean, if you actually
Absolutely.
sit, or even when you're in the car at a red light, it's like, okay, guys, just, I'm here at this red light, and don't close your eyes, but
Right.
breathe very deeply. John is bringing in some piano for us.
I
and it's
like that.
It's
It
coming,
sounded
it's
familiar.
going.
It sounded familiar.
Oh, is that? Do we have a little Susie to play around? Okay, we can bring it down a little bit. We'll kind of, or no, actually, we'll bring it up. We'll just take a moment.
That's lovely.
Thanks, John.
So we're just going to take a deep breath on that.
let us breathe in, let us breathe out. Really,
Something
just
that
it's
simple.
amazing
Yes.
how when we do that, and sometimes we get very excited about things, and even good, bad, indifferent, happy, whatever. Just remembering even to exhale. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even have to breathe in. If we just push all the air out as much as we can, we'll breathe in.
Yes,
We don't have to worry
exactly.
about that part.
Exactly.
That's and the gratitude for having that breath and having that ability to just be human in our human incarnation. I think when I take a deep breath, it's a moment. No matter what is going on in my life, it's like, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You know that song? It's like
Yeah.
I take that Bob Marley song, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
It's okay, people.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Everything is all right, actually.
Yeah.
Especially in that breath.
Yeah, especially with the breath, because the breath reminds us that of myself, I'm not breathing my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Of myself, I'm not beating my heart. I'm doing nothing to beat my heart right now.
Yes.
And so when we take a deep breath, there's the opportunity to recognize that there is a larger, greater presence that is breathing us, that back to the swimming pool, that is inviting us to rest and to let go into, as you were speaking of earlier, that the breath, I'm not doing anything to breathe.
Yeah.
Something is breathing me.
Right.
Something is breathing me, and the whole something that is a very fascinating conversation to me is
And I'm interested.
You hear well, okay, I love that you're interested. We all hear this, or you hear that statement, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and you just spoke to that. Well, I say I am a spiritual being, and I want to be here having a spiritual experience while I'm human. I want to have a spiritual experience, and I think that that's what individuals are searching for. They know the human experience, and while we're in the midst of a human experience, let us be connected and know that we are of something greater. I'm a spirit, and I want to be walking through my life, through my day. This is where Blissipline comes in. I want to be walking through my day knowing I am my human self,
Yes.
and I am greater than my human self. Something is
Yes.
breathing me. The word spirit, it means breath,
Right.
spirit.
Yes.
And so to walk through my human life disconnected, again with that word, disconnected from that knowing, makes me walk through in a constricted, small, efforting way.
And guess what?
What?
None of that is even true.
It's not
In
true.
other words, it's just like I'm sad and I love playing Brio and I'm
Yes.
going to, we are living a human experience. We are human people, and that is awesome. I mean, it's totally awesome. And we're sacred, and we're spiritual, and we're sad, and we're happy. And we
Exactly.
have a worry about finances, and we're going to figure out a way to have that not be a problem. It
Exactly.
doesn't mean just lay on the bed and just say all will be well. It's like, okay, so what's up? What can I do a little more of? Or what do maybe I don't need to, whatever, with something with money, so I'm cool doing my life
And
another
again,
way.
and-
all of it is possible,
Yes.
and all of it is happening
And
right
here's
now.
the thing with, I love that you use such a specific example of someone with a money worry. So here's the thing. Again, when we take the time to not run away and avoid that money issue,
Yes.
I absolutely will bet money and guarantee you all that when you take the time, what you will find is there is an inner voice that has been prompting you to do whatever action steps
Yes.
you are needing to take to resolve that money issue. There is nothing, it's not
Yes.
rocket science. There's not, you're not going to
Right.
learn something that you didn't know before. It's inside of you, and the money issue, the insight has been seeking to try to tell you, here you're walking this way, turn. Or here, you
Yes.
need to do this. You're
Make
not doing
that
this, or
call.
don't. Yeah, exactly correct. It's
go-
right there inside.
Yes. I mean, what's so crazy about that is even going to Agape on Sunday, because I wasn't going to go because I was kind of sad, and Mother's Day is sort of a thing for me and all that. And a friend of mine who's a very spiritual kind of guiding person for me, she just gives me advice sometimes in a cool way. She said, "You've got to have a Panache on your show." I'm like, "Well, do you have his number?" She's, "Well, no, but I just just know you're going to meet him.
And
I went to Agape just to be there, and I was a little reluctant because I thought everyone's going to be jumping around and singing and dancing and having this whole, flowery day, and I'm not feeling flowery at all. But hey, I'll check it out anyway. And who appears people but Panache was there, and I met him, and I met his wife, and he's going to be on the show, and I got his book, and now I'm yakking about him, and you guys are learning about him, and please check him out.
Yes.
And like, whoa. But I listened to that whisper that I was kind of resistant to, but I said, I'll just dive in the pool.
Yes.
Anyway, kinda.
Yes.
And then, who knows what's going to come from all that.
Yeah. Which is the other thing that
Or
most...
for you guys who are going to hear him and something's going to happen for you. So I love that.
Exactly. And what
And
happens
John, you
most of
too.
the time is that you get that prompting, but because you didn't feel it, you let the feeling override the prompting.
Right.
Because it's called the still small voice. It's
Right.
just a small prompting.
Yes.
And so most of us would feel the feeling, the prompting, but then, I don't feel like it. Everybody's going to be jumping up and down. Everybody's going to be happy. I'm not in that place. And you let that override. Most of us let that override. And then you didn't. You took the contrary action. You listened to the smaller prompting, and you didn't wait to feel like you wanted to go.
Right.
You didn't feel like you wanted to go, but
Right.
you went anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like the brio, and I'm
And
sad,
then-
and whatever.
yes.
So I'm sad about Mother's Day, and
I'm
why
gonna
not be
go.
around people?
Yes.
It's like, okay, I will bring my whatever to the party, and whatever happens will happen.
Yes, exactly.
And there's
correct.
so that is, I think, the real truth right now, which does make it simple, which does make me happy that we're doing this show today, is to say
Yes.
literally that it is all okay. And I know I don't mean to make fun of the idea of meditating or having wheatgrass or being a vegetarian or any of the things. At the same time, I realize that at this time in our life, I feel like some people work very hard at feeling that if they do certain things,
Absolutely.
that then the bliss will happen.
Yes.
When I've been a vegetarian for a year, or when I read this book, or I've read 17 books, but I know there's that last book, or there's that next book,
Yes.
the next step. What is
Yes.
the next step? The next step is to know that we, of course, and you guys, we've all heard it a million times, we have it all within us. We know that. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all know that. However, I love the idea of knowing that not to run away. In other words, just to know that, our beauty is within us. Yeah, that is true. And we are human. And we have moments where we're pissed off. And we have moments where we're hungry. And we have moments when we're thirsty and we don't have water around us. So we're going to be thirsty for a little while until we get the water. But we will get it at some point pretty soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's all part of it, and it's all okay, right?
Absolutely. And what you're speaking to is this, one of the reasons that I feel so passionately about being a spiritual therapist is what you were alluding to earlier, which is we as practitioners come from a consciousness of wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
So in our Western culture, traditional therapy can be seen as there's something wrong to be fixed. There's something broken to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And we are evolving as a consciousness, as a collective group now, to recognize that there's nothing broken to be fixed.
Right.
It's all okay.
Yes.
We are whole. It's all okay. It's all part of the whole. And therefore, when I know that, there's something enlivening that happens inside of me. And if out of that sense of well-being, I choose to take better care of my body and drink wheatgrass, the drinking of the wheatgrass is just a neutral thing.
Right.
I can be drinking wheatgrass because I want to take better care of my body because I feel so great. Someone else can be drinking wheatgrass to try to thinking that there's something broken inside of them, like
Right,
you were
that
saying, and
they're
if I
heal-
drink enough of it, then I'm going to feel better. It's the same thing as somebody using their credit card. If I have
Exactly.
enough things around me, I'll feel better, or if I have a partner, I'll feel better.
Right.
So it's really not the outer thing, it's where you're coming from. That's why I love what I do, because it's working from the inside out,
Yeah, and my sister's son passed away a couple months ago. So we're really sad about that.
Yeah.
It's just, we're
Yeah.
just really sad about it. And I know what's up. You know, I know that it's just a veil and all
Yes.
those kinds of things. And I'm sad too, you know.
Yes.
So it's that feeling of, it's not either or. It's not, oh, I'm not a spiritual person if I'm sad. You know,
Exactly.
oh, get it, Sonny. You know, you should know better. Well, yeah, I do know better, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad for me. I'm sad for my sister. I'm sad for my nieces it was their
Yes.
brother. They're really sad. I'm
Yes.
sad for his 6-year-old little daughter who's, you know, still here. And she's got so much of him in her that it's just sort of, wow. It's like, whoa. I mean, he just, I don't know how it all works necessarily, but it feels like he's sort of feeding her every day, you know, some of his, what is that stuff called? Miracle Grow.
Yeah.
It's like she's miraculously growing or something. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing my practices since the time I was born, and I'm sad.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that would be weird if I wasn't sad, and it's okay with me.
That's our humanity.
Yeah.
And we have pushed away our humanity. We've pushed away that part. That's why most of or all of the great mystics are able to bilocate. They're able to know that we are multi-dimensional beings. What we really cut ourselves short by thinking that we're just something.
Yes.
And we're multidimensional, and we are able to feel many things at one time.
Yes.
And as we evolve and we have conversations with each other, and then like you said, then someone else is watching, and then they're going to go have a conversation with someone and recognize, oh, I can feel this and this at the same time, and I can communicate it to my child. And
Yes.
that is very expansive.
A ripple effect, people.
Yes,
that is why we
very
do this show, right,
expansive.
John?
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. And speaking of John, my engineer, who's giving me some moments that were the high side, I want to let you guys know that this is Singing in the Rain. I've done like no promo because we've just been going for it here. But I want to remind you that we are on UBN, that we will be on Gwen Network TV Global very soon. Let's give out your website. I want to remind people again, dive deep down under, guys. So this is on the website. We'll just get to that really fast. And your website is?
SUZI Lula. It's SUZI. That's all you really have to know is how to spell SUZI, SUZI, Lula, LULA.com.
Perfect. And then you can also go to info@dolphindestiny.com to find out more about this rockin' event that's going to be with Jamie and Susie, and they're both magnificent musicians. And you guys know that Jamie was on my show a while ago, and I actually replayed his show on Christmas Day because I love that show so
He
much.
told me that. Such an honor. And then I went and watched it again last night because you had posted it, and to watch it again was, you guys were great. And he's so wonderful. He's a great example of someone who just feels what he's feeling and is blissed out.
And you know what's so great about that too, that I learned when I was talking to Susie Landolfi about her Big Heart Ranch and about the horses. I said, you know what, guys, honestly and truly, I love I feel so much better being around people who just let me know what's up. You know, like they're kind of tired, or, hey, I mean, I just tell people we can be acting away, but if something, you know, your kid comes in and needs you, bye now, click. Like, we don't have to get into a whole, like, let me finish my whole story. No, it's done.
Yeah.
Deal with the child. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like, I love people who deal with me like that.
Yeah.
And it's truthful and it's real, and it's like with the horse, it's in integrity, it's spiritual, human, emotional integrity coming together, being real. Come on, it's okay, people. Let's all be like that. And then, you know, when we need a mommy moment or a brain break or you know, that moment to really flex our gratitude muscle or whatever, all the different wheatgrass aspects of health care, human care, me care are, then let's just do them and just, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all okay. John, do you feel better?
I do.
Good. I figure if our engineer gets moved as we move through our life here on the show,
We're doing something right.
Doing something right. So, John, is
Powerful simplicity.
Yeah.
That's what it
Oh.
was.
Yeah.
I like that. I was at Agape last night. I was telling Susie that I'm going to, I think, be part of the prison ministry. That's another day. But this really cool guy, Brian, who was there, came up with this word that I absolutely love. So I'm going to share this with you. Social activision. So don't we love that? Like, so we're social activisionists. So it means that, yes, we can do the visioning, we can do the manifesting, guys. Like, you know, I had Betsy Chassie on the show about, you know, what the bleep. And now she's like, what the whatever, because she's on to the next thing, which is, okay, a lot of it's like, guys, let's just get active. Let's just do
Yes.
stuff and stop talking about it, reading about it, seeing movies, all that's great. But what's next to do?
Yes.
Let's get going. The
Yes.
next step, people.
Yeah, it's the activity that you're.
Yes, and the power of one. The next step, the power of one. Let's sing in the rain and know that it's all good, because the rain can be dark and all that, but we can have a blast in it.
Yeah.
Or we can just wah wah wah. Right? We
Yeah.
can do either one.
Right.
So, John, is there anything that you want to say to bring us out?
No, that's it.
Okay.
We're actually doing good. We're actually right on time.
Okay. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Well, I want to really, really, really thank SUZI LULA for being with us today. And you guys can, let's just mention that going to her website, and there are lots of CDs that you can get with her beautiful music. And do that, because you can just get them and have them and enjoy them. And next time we have you on, we'll just do stuff. We'll just do some music and we'll just see what happens. In the meantime, guys, take all this. Check out Panache. Check out SUZI. Check out my other shows with Jamie on my YouTube page /Sunny Chayes, spells Chayes, and sunny like the day. And go for it, and just remember that you are having a human experience. So the judgment is the main thing we will just let fall away.
Yes.
Bye-bye, judgment.
That's what the rain is good for.
Bye-bye.
Wash it away.
Let's
Wash
it away. Bye-bye.
Yes.
So until next time, it's Sunny Chayes. It's been my pleasure to be
Yes.
with you today, SUZI
Yes.
and
Thank you.
John. And we'll go out to
Thank you.
dancing in the rain.
Love it.
Dancing in the
Love
streets,
it.
singing in the rain.